On Christmas Eve, a lonely woman stepped off a snow-covered stagecoach carrying nothing but one suitcase and a heart full of uncertainty. She had traveled hundreds of miles to marry a rancher she had only known through letters. But one question haunted her every step. Would his children ever accept her? As she reached the ranch, warm light spilled from the cabin windows onto the fresh snow. Through the glass, she saw something that instantly brought tears to her eyes. A small wooden table was already set for Christmas dinner, and right beside the father's chair was an empty place with a handwritten card. It simply read, "For Mama." The children had never met her, yet they had already saved her a seat. Stay until the very end, because this Christmas miracle will remind you that the greatest gifts are never wrapped in paper. They're wrapped in love. If you enjoy heartwarming Wild West stories filled with faith, family, and second chances, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join us for more unforgettable stories. Snow drifted gently across the valley as Christmas Eve settled over the little frontier town of Cedar Ridge. Lanterns glowed along the frozen streets, pine wreaths decorated wooden storefronts, and families hurried home through the crisp winter air, eager to celebrate together. Many miles outside town, a stagecoach slowly climbed the winding trail toward the Walker Ranch. Inside sat a young woman named Emily Harper, clutching a worn leather suitcase and the bundle of letters that had brought her across the country. She had answered an advertisement written by widowed rancher Jacob Walker, a hard-working father searching not only for a wife, but for someone willing to help raise his two young children. Their letters had been filled with honesty, kindness, and faith. Yet Emily couldn't quiet the fear in her heart. She had never met Jacob in person, and she worried most about one question: would his children ever accept a stranger as their mother? As the stagecoach rolled through the falling snow, she whispered a silent prayer that she wouldn't disappoint the family waiting for her. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Jacob worked tirelessly outside, hanging the final evergreen wreath above the cabin door, while snow gathered on the brim of his hat. Since his beloved wife had passed away 3 years earlier from illness, every Christmas had felt incomplete. Though he smiled for his children, the empty chair at the dinner table reminded him daily of everything they had lost. His 8-year-old daughter Anna and 6-year-old son Ben, however, believed this Christmas would be different. They had spent the entire afternoon decorating the cozy log cabin with pine branches, handmade ornaments, and tiny candles glowing warmly in every window. Most importantly, without telling their father, they carefully placed an extra plate at the Christmas dinner table. Anna even folded a cloth napkin into the shape of a little star and placed a handwritten card beside the empty chair. In careful childish handwriting, it read simply, "For Mama." When Jacob noticed it, his heart nearly broke. He gently asked, "Sweetheart, what if she doesn't want to stay?" Anna smiled with innocent confidence only a child could possess. "She'll stay if she knows she's already part of our family." Those words lingered in Jacob's mind as he stepped outside just as the stagecoach finally arrived. Emily climbed down slowly, brushing snow from her coat while nervously looking toward the warmly lit cabin. She expected an awkward introduction, polite conversation, and perhaps uncertain faces staring back at her. Instead, before she could even speak, Anna and Ben burst through the front door and ran across the snow. "You're here," Anna shouted happily. Ben grabbed Emily's gloved hand before she could set down her suitcase. "Come quick. We saved you a seat before Daddy could say no." Confused, Emily allowed the children to lead her inside. The warmth of the crackling fireplace wrapped around her as she entered the cabin. Her eyes slowly moved across the Christmas tree, the glowing candles, the simple decorations, until they stopped at the dinner table. There, beside Jacob's chair, was a place already waiting for her. On the plate rested the small handwritten card, "For Mama." Emily covered her mouth as tears filled her eyes. After a lifetime of loneliness and uncertainty, she had expected to earn a family's love slowly over time. Instead, 2 children had already opened their hearts before she even arrived. Jacob quietly watched the emotional moment unfold, realizing his children had given Emily the greatest Christmas gift anyone could receive. Not a perfect home, but the certainty that she already belonged. None of them could imagine that this beautiful Christmas Eve would become the beginning of a family whose love would inspire the entire frontier for years to come. Emily's first evening at the Walker Ranch felt nothing like she had imagined. Instead of awkward silence, the cabin was filled with cheerful laughter, the scent of fresh bread, roasted turkey, cinnamon, and pine from the Christmas tree standing proudly beside the fireplace. Anna refused to let Emily sit anywhere except the special chair they had prepared for her. Ben proudly carried her suitcase to the guest room and announced to everyone that it wouldn't stay there for long because Mama belongs with us. Emily couldn't help but smile through her tears. For years she had dreamed of finding a family, yet she had never expected to be welcomed with such open hearts on the very first day. During dinner, the children eagerly shared stories about life on the ranch, their favorite horses, and the Christmas traditions their late mother had started years before. Jacob watched quietly as Emily listened with patience, laughed at the children's jokes, and gently encouraged Ben when he accidentally spilled his cider. The empty feeling that had haunted every Christmas since his wife's passing slowly disappeared. For the first time in years, the cabin felt alive again. As the days passed, Emily naturally became part of the family's routine. She baked warm pies, helped Anna decorate the tree with handmade ornaments, read bedtime stories beside the fire, and joined Jacob in caring for the animals during the snowy mornings. Soon the children stopped calling her Miss Emily and simply called her Mama, a title she accepted with tears of gratitude. Some neighbors questioned whether such happiness could last, warning Jacob not to rush into another marriage. He only smiled because he had already seen the answer in his children's eyes. One quiet evening after the Christmas celebrations ended, Jacob found Emily standing outside beneath the stars, watching snowflakes drift across the peaceful ranch. She admitted she had feared she would always be a stranger. Jacob gently took her hand and said, "The moment my children saved you that seat at our table, you stopped being a visitor. You became the greatest Christmas blessing we've ever received." Emily looked through the window at Anna and Ben laughing together inside the warm cabin, and realized that sometimes the family you've prayed for is already waiting with a place prepared just for you. Soon, their first Christmas together would become a memory the entire valley would cherish for generations. By the following Christmas, the Walker Ranch had become the happiest place in Cedar Ridge. Snow blanketed the fields, lanterns glowed warmly along the porch, and the little log cabin was brighter than ever with evergreen garlands, handmade ornaments, and a crackling fire that welcomed every visitor. The family gathered around the same wooden table where, 1 year earlier, an empty chair had been waiting for a woman they had never met. This time, there was no empty seat. Emily sat beside Jacob, smiling as Anna and Ben helped serve dinner, laughing together as if they had always been one family. Looking around the room, Jacob quietly thanked God for answering a prayer he had almost stopped praying. After the meal, he reached into his pocket and placed a small velvet box in front of Emily. Inside was a simple gold wedding band. Fighting back tears, he took her hand and said, "Last Christmas, my children saved you a seat at our table. Today, I'd like to ask you to stay in that seat for the rest of our lives." Before Emily could answer, Anna and Ben rushed over, wrapping their arms around her and excitedly shouting, "Please say yes." Through joyful tears, Emily whispered, "Yes, with all my heart." The little cabin filled with laughter, hugs, and grateful prayers as the family celebrated the greatest Christmas gift they had ever received. Years later, travelers passing through Cedar Ridge still heard the story of the Christmas mail, order bride who arrived with fear in her heart and found a family waiting with a place already prepared for her. The Walker Ranch became known for its warm hospitality, where every Christmas Eve an extra chair was always placed at the table. Not because someone was missing, but as a reminder that there is always room for one more person who needs love, hope, or a place to belong. Emily never forgot the handwritten card that had changed her life, for Mama. She carefully kept it tucked inside her Bible as a reminder that sometimes the greatest miracles begin with the simple faith of a child. Together, She and Jacob raised Anna and Ben in a home filled with kindness, laughter, and unwavering love, proving that the strongest families are not always formed by blood, but by open hearts willing to welcome one another. If this Christmas story touched your heart, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who believes in the miracle of second chances. Remember, the greatest gift you can ever give isn't wrapped beneath a tree. It's making someone feel that they truly belong.